Hey Jay, it's by Dr. Muata Ashby. I have a series called The Nine Parts of Self. They're located on YouTube, and you can catch up if you need to have the foundation of understanding. Okay, all right, here we go. Tantra, yoga, and the magnetism of the human body. Before I begin, let me know if y'all interested in this. Type yes if you are. I need interaction because interaction helps expose me to the For You page. So type yes. Good. Sean, what's up? Also, when you type words, if I didn't see you come in, then it gives me an opportunity to acknowledge you. All right. Is the music good? Is it distracting? Can you hear it? Tell me about that, Aristotle. You're here taking notes? Perfect. Because I want to be able to put this on YouTube, and I'm gonna be real disappointed if the music is messing it up. you know, I'm waiting for someone to let me know if the music is good. If you're busy and you can't tap the screen, I understand. Yes, yes, because the Medu Necher is the word of God, the word of wisdom. So this is included in there. Okay, you're not able to hear it. Great. I'll just turn it off. I'll just turn it off. No need. All right. A close introspection. Okay, I understand. If you can tap, please do. If you can't, it's all right. Okay, here we go. A close inspection of the statues and pictographs of Egyptian and Ethiopian deities called the Netchers revealed that they had a keen understanding of the magnetism of the human body. And then it says, see page 136. So we're going to go to page 136. We're studying together, okay? I revisit this book over and over and over again because it's new every single time, okay? So on page 136, we have God at the center, and then there's male and female. We could call this yin and yang energy. We're not talking about men and women here right now, we're talking about principles. So you see the scale. All right. Were y'all able to see that? A close inspection of the statues and pictographs of Egyptian and Ethiopian deities revealed that they had a keen understanding of the magnetism of the human body. This was later expanded upon by Indian Kundalini and Tantra yoga systems, as well as Chinese Tantrists and Qigong practitioners. In addition, modern medical science also corroborates the magnetic relationships of the earth, the body parts, and the interrelation of these. As previously discussed, creation is composed of positive electric and negative magnetic forces. So there's a foundation right there. Creation is composed of positive, which is electric, and negative, which is magnetic forces. So if we were to say this a different way, all of creation is electric and magnetic, electromagnetic. Okay. The human body is also composed of positive and negative forces. I'm talking about charge. I'm talking about energy right now, not anything moral. So I'm not talking about positive as in good and negative as in bad. I'm talking about charge and energy. Okay. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So all of creation is electromagnetic and the human body as well. The interplay of which produces our physical form and more subtle bodies, health or illness, energy or weakness, etc. The left side of the body is magnetic. Negative charge draws energy in. And the right side is electric. Positive charge emits and gives energy. I'm going to say that again. Getting to know yourself, getting to know your subtle bodies is where we are. And we're reading about Kemetic Tantra Yoga. So, again, the left side of the body is magnetic. That's the negative charge, which draws energy in. The right side of the body is electric. It's a positive charge and it emits or gives energies. So, this adds a dimension to this discussion that we have when we say that everyone has masculine and feminine energy. Everyone has a receptive side and an emitting side. Okay, so we see that the left side is magnetic and the right side is electric. The top half of the body is negatively charged, and the bottom half is positively charged. Thus, the human body has four poles which balance one another. So you have the left side, the right side, the top, and the bottom. So, one more time. In order to understand how to circulate energy, you need to know the nature of the energy. And we are using right now Kemetic spirituality to look at that. But there's so many modalities we could look at. Again, your left side is magnetic, your right side is electric. Your top half is negatively charged, magnetic. The bottom half is positively charged, electric. Thus, the human body has four poles which balance each other. In general, just in general, the male human body is charged, positive, electric, and in general, the female body is charged, negative, magnetic. The male sexual organs are electrically positively charged, and the female organs are magnetically or negatively charged. In this manner, the male and female charges attract, balance, and complement each other. Through higher expressions of sexual energy, love, the body, mind, and spirit interact with nature, increasing levels of consciousness, leading to universal love and hetep, which is the ultimate sublimation, peace, and satisfaction. Okay. So I believe that the reason it says in general, right? Because indigenous cultures, many ancient cultures recognize two-spirited beings, okay? And there's a place for them. And that's why I believe this text talks about in general, because there may be some male bodies who are more female and female who are more male, etc. Right now, we're dealing on the level of energy, okay? And everybody has masculine and feminine energy. I don't want to go too far into that because I want to stay on topic, but at least y'all know the background of where we're coming from. I'll continue to read. The pre-dynastic statue of Min, M-I-N, was originally 13 feet tall. This statue shows the idea of the power of sexual energy and the harnessing of that power. In addition, thank you. In addition, it will be noticed upon close inspection that the level at which the genitals are located is slightly above the groin. This area corresponds to the third energy center, in which cosmic energy is processed for the use throughout the entire body. In the Indian Kundalini Yoga system, this center is called the Manipura chakra. The solar plexus is where life force Ra is most strongly manifested. And I want to add too that you do have an energy body called a khanda, right? And the khanda is said to be the intersection of about 72,000 nadis. Nadis are energy flows, energy streams. So you have a khanda, and the khanda is said to be like an oval shape. I imagine it like to be the shape of a shallot. And it's right beneath the belly button. The khanda is the intersection of 72,000 nadis. Nadis are streams of energy. They intersect right there, right? And so it's natural, it's necessary, I should say, for you to activate your khanda often. And if you don't, we can talk about that. We're talking about energetic hygiene. We're talking about Tantra from the Kemetic spirituality standpoint. And we're looking at how we can increase our quality of life through this, okay? So Kundalini energy has a lot to do with what we're talking about here. Sean said, wow, greeting 64. The Manipura chakra, the solar plexus is where the life force of Ra is most strongly manifested. So if you don't know where the solar plexus is, it's in the area right beneath your heart space and right above your navel, right? And so it's not an actual space on your body, but it's a circulating energy that is around and through that part of the body. And the solar plexus is about your will. The solar plexus, yes, it's the sun. It's about your will. It's about the responsibility you carry. It's about your motivation. All of that center right here is the solar plexus. And so when your solar plexus energy is balanced, your will feels under your own direction. Your will is connected with your heart in the upper chakras and the lower ones, right? And when it is powerful. And when your solar plexus is out of balance, and we all have spaces where these energy centers get out of balance, but when it's out of balance, you experience low will, low motivation. You may become codependent or overly dependent on validation. You may find yourself in a disempowered state, right? So it's always good. It's good to get in the sun no matter whether it's warm, cold, or whatever, hot, cold, warm, cool. Get in the sun and expose your solar plexus to the rays of the sun. That's a good idea. And there are particular days that are good for the solar plexus as well. So let's continue. We're talking about this Manipura chakra. The solar plexus is where the life force of Ra is most strongly manifested. Ra, Ra, Ra. Okay, hey Kaparu, how are you? Now it says, if properly sublimated, Hetep, through special meditations on this area, the body can develop immense physical power and health. In the Taoist system of yoga from China called Qigong and Tai Chi, this area called the solar plexus is known as the lower dantian, where through mental will and concentration, spiritual energy is developed and then directed to the Shin, or the immortal soul, whose seat is at the upper dantian, located at the level of the eyebrow. Okay. In Indian yoga, it's called the Anahata chakra. In Egyptian yoga, it's called the uraeus. Okay. We're talking about your solar plexus. It's a good idea to find meditations on all of your energy systems. And each day, if y'all would like, I'll begin to post in my bulletin board again what day is good for meditation and where we're receiving plasma from the cosmos, if you want to, because I do have that information. Loving the vibes. Ashe, glad you're here. Are y'all part of my bulletin board? If you're not, go to my profile and join. It should be one of the links somewhere on there. But I've begun to share daily energies there. Okay. Yeah. So the chakras are energy bodies. We need to practice good energy hygiene there, right? Just like you take a bath and you brush your teeth and you wash your hair, your chakras need to be attended to daily. Okay. You are? Okay, good. So there's a diagram showing the poles of cosmic energy in nature and the human body. It's important to understand that cosmic, now from now on, when I say cosmic, I mean sexual. Thank you, Shug. Cosmic means sexual, so I'm going to say cosmic from now on. Okay. It's important to understand that cosmic energy is one energy, but with different poles. The different poles give rise to an interplay of molecules, which then appear to give rise to separate objects. Indeed, all objects in nature and the human body are composed of the same material, energy, which is controlled by mental vibrations, which is the interplay of Eru and Set. And we know the Hermetic principle, all is mental. All of this is intertwined. So when you are looking to live a tantric life, you are interested in getting to know life beyond the physical. You're interested in more than just the right words. You're interested in more than just the spiritual look or the desire to appear spiritual. Hey, Nova. You begin to infuse yourself so deeply into life and into self that you cannot think the same, that you can't move the same because you have elevated yourself into your godness. Does that make sense? So here's the diagram. Here's the diagram. We have the positive electric, the negative magnetic charge. We have the four poles. So it's important for you to understand that your body has four poles. Okay. So if you just popped on, we're reading about Kemetic spirituality and tantric living. The different poles give rise to an interplay of molecules, which then appear to give rise to separate objects. We're talking about creation. Indeed, all objects in nature and the human body are composed of the same material, energy, which is controlled by mental vibrations. This is the interplay of Eru and Set. Once it is directed to the Shin, the spiritual energy begins the process of expansion of consciousness, leading to the point where the individual chi merges with the universal chi. The goal of this is not to feel like you did a spiritual thing and now you could say I meditated and I'm balanced. The goal is union with universal chi. The goal is union with universal, the all is mental, the one. That's the goal. Now imagine you have this practice in your natural life and another person has their practice. And when you come together, you're no longer performing cosmic interaction. You're no longer worried about the petty things of what I look like and are they looking at me and self consciousness and am I pleasing them and what does, and your mind is far beyond all of that, right? And you ascend together. You know, in Beyonce's song, what's it called? Cuff It Better. And she says, I bet you see God. Because why you're not seeing God when you are intertwining with cosmic energy? Why is it that you're still in your mind trying to figure out are they faking or not? Are you doing well or not? Do they like it? Why are you in your mind? Because we have not tapped in a deep way. It's time. Don't you think it's time? Yeah. Let's continue. The goal. Now we're talking about circulating the energy. So I'm going to back up and go back into that previous paragraph. Okay? You be knowing. So here we are. If properly sublimated through special meditations on this area, meaning the solar plexus, the body can develop immense physical power and health. And I think I should be saying Taoist instead of Taoist. In the Taoist systems of yoga from China called Qigong and Tai Chi, the solar plexus is known as the lower dantian, where through the mental will and concentration, spiritual energy is developed and then directed to the Shin, which is the immortal spirit or soul, whose seat is at the upper dantian, located at the level of the eyebrow, right here. So, continuing. Once it's directed to the Shin, the spiritual energy begins a process of expansion of consciousness. So you're raising the energy from your solar plexus up to around your third eye, leading to the point where the individual chi merges with the universal chi. So you are no longer just you become aware that you are one. Thus, the vessel is prepared for the spirit in which it can escape immortality. This vessel may be compared to the building of the Sahu, or the glorious spiritual body of Egypt, or the building of the chariot in the Jewish mystical Kabbalistic system. The Egyptian Sahu, or glorious body, is called the Divya Deva, or the divine body, by the Hindus of India. Do you see how all of this is interconnected? It is understood as a higher level of consciousness which develops out of the ordinary, everyday ego consciousness. Instead of believing oneself to be an individual, having a dream, one knows oneself to be God, acting as the individual person in the waking, sleeping, and deep sleep states. This is about knowing thyself. This whole process is about deepening your knowing of thyself. It still has not talked about another person yet, because your identity matters. The way you see yourself matters. What you think matters. How you connect matters. Your spiritual practices matter. Your energetic hygiene matters. This is all about becoming one with the universal chi, right? So if you are not having these practices, then you have to stay in the body with your regular mind and your ego consciousness fussing about who called you this or didn't call you that, and whether they said this or said you just kind of stuck in a loop. When you want to escape the loop of triggers and just mundane behavior, right? You have to elevate within yourself, or else you have to participate in it, right? Because it's part of your evolution. It is important, it says, to understand that each of us contains a male and a female half. I'm going to read that again. It's important to understand that each of us contains a male and a female half. As we move toward universal understanding, or Eruhood, we become more androgynous as we gradually allow the androgynous spirit within us. I didn't say this. The Egyptian yoga book is laying this out. And it makes sense to me, right? Because you become less focused on, I'm a man, I'm a woman, and you focus on oneness. That makes sense because those things fall away when you go beyond the level of ego consciousness. It doesn't really matter who's calling you what or saying what, because you begin to have a whole different experience. We become more androgynous as we gradually allow the androgynous spirit within us, Heru, Eru, to have control of our being. It is only due to the identification with the ego that we believe we are members of a certain sex, race, country, or planet. I'm not saying this is bad, but what I am saying is that if you are wanting to practice this tantric way, then you're going to have to come away from firm labels and gripping and attachment, because the whole essence of this is to merge with the universal one. All is mental, not to stay plugged into I'm this and I'm that, and don't you say I'm not, because I'm going to get upset at you and I'm going to cut you off because you're saying I'm not what I am. All of that falls away. And then if all of that falls away, then our desire to pigeonhole people will fall away also. That tendency will melt away. I'm not saying we're going to agree with everything, want everything, or fall in alignment with everything. But what I am saying is it takes you out of suffering. Those fritties, the mental modifications I talked about recently. I'm going to read that again. It is only due to the identification with the ego that we believe we are members of a certain sex, race, country, or planet. All right. So down here, we have the androgynous quality of the human body. You see a more male form here, a more female form here, the electromagnetic, right? On the bottom left, which is what I just showed you, the microcosmic orbit and the Chinese symbol of the Tao is what you see. And I don't see that. Okay, I see. Okay, let's continue. The diagram showing the chi energy circulation pattern around the body and the location of the upper dantian and the lower dantian, the system of macrocosmic universal energy flow and microcosmic individual human energy flow. Here it is right here. We know this as the yin and yang, right? And here is showing the energy flow. Greetings. Greetings, Skywalker and Tomboy. So this is the microcosmic orbit, is what I was just showing you. I was looking in the wrong place. And we have the Taoist symbols, the yin and yang. Okay. Let's continue. This system of macrocosmic universe energy flow and microcosmic individual human energy flow constitutes the basis of acupuncture, the Chinese yoga system of the Tao and Qigong. The idea is to, now here's the part. Y'all listening? Greetings, y'all. The idea is to circulate one's psychic energy instead of allowing it to be wasted in the futile pursuit of worldly pleasures and attainments, which, as we have seen, are always perishable and illusory in nature. Energy flows to the object of our mind's interest and attention. So instead of placing one's attention on worldly pursuits, one circulates it by force of mental will through the practice of meditation. Y'all listening? Okay. So when we're talking about meditation, I'm not talking about the practice of focus, because those are two different things in yoga. Traditionally, when we talk about meditation, we're talking about the state of mind that is achieved when you experience oneness with the universe. Oneness. Concentration is focus. Now, you cannot meditate without focus in yoga, but you can focus without meditating. Okay? So, focus might be putting your mind on something, it keeps you in this realm. Meditation, however, frees you, liberates you from this realm in the practice. And so, it's two different things, right? You may use music, you may use chanting and things of that nature, but at some point in meditation, you get a little glimmer of the oneness, and then it expands more and more and more. And that's what the yogis talk about. So that it can go to the point where some people, usually not us, usually it's people who dedicate their lives and minds to the practice, they begin to live in a type of existence that is not what you and I experience, right? And some of them can't even function in the everyday world anymore. We're not trying to get to that point. Well, I don't know about you, maybe you are. But I want to know how to be the expression of God in this body, right? That's my desire here. So let's continue. We're talking about circulating the energy rather than sending it out, circulating it within your being. And when you're talking about being together with two people, you're circulating the energy between each one. It's not transactional one way. One person is into it, the other one is receiving. That's not the nature of it, right? It's a cosmic dance. So let's continue. Energy flows to the object of our mind's interest and attention. So instead of placing one's attention on worldly pursuits, one circulates it by the force of mental will through the practice of meditation. Even while engaged in worldly duties, one who practices the conservation of spiritual energy through maintenance of a balanced mind can engage in any activity without losing spiritual energy or consciousness. I'm going to read that again. Even while engaged in worldly duties, it says while engaged in worldly duties. We're not just living in the spiritual form and exiting all worldly duties. Thank you, Jazz. We are simultaneously inhabiting these realms. Okay? Even while engaged in worldly duties, one who practices the conservation of spiritual energy through the maintenance of a balanced mind. Why do you need a balanced mind? Why do you need to stop all that thinking that you think? Why do you need to shift your awareness? Why do you need to let go of some energies? Why? Well, if you're trying to elevate, if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to practice Tantra, then the natural thing to happen is you come into a balanced mind. Hey, original. Right. To have a balanced mind. Because when you practice the conservation of energy through the maintenance of a balanced mind, one more time, while in your everyday life, the practice of conservation of spiritual energy through a balanced mind will cause you to engage in any activity without losing spiritual energy or consciousness. It would behoove you to want to elevate yourself. Why is it a must? Because the key to elevation is there. You keep hanging on to these thought processes that are not true, these thought processes that you are attached to, hey Sinead, then you are stuck on the level that you're on. You're looping on the level that you're on, is what I should say. Because your attachment is causing your energy to go outward. I hope you're paying attention. It makes sense to evolve in this way, yes? Thus, he or she is said to be doing nothing even in the midst of performing heavy activity. Such a one is termed a sage. Such a one is termed a sage. A sage is not just someone who has a holy word, as we're talking about it here. A sage is not just something similar to an oracle. You see now, according to this Kemetic spirituality, a sage is someone who is involved in the energetic hygiene of this whole process and is elevating and is circulating energy rather than letting it flow out and leak. The task, what is the task? The task is then to integrate the two polarities of yin and yang within one's own body, which are in reality two polarities of the same life force energy, in order to achieve this dynamic balance, the Tao, Tao, Tao. By meditating on the circulating energy, which begins at the lower dantian, and concentrating it there, the meditator can store up energy and develop a psychic embryo. In time, the quote unquote child becomes old enough to be mentally transferred to the upper dantian, where the child grows to form a glorious body for the spirit to inhabit after the death of the physical body. And we just talked about something super spiritual there. It adds another dimension to giving birth to self. This whole meditative process, the whole practice of circulating the energy, all of this is for you. It's for you after after you transition out of this body. So again, why do you need to shift your mind? Why can't you just hang on to the old stuff and be comfortable with it? Well, you could. But if you're wanting to engage in a spiritual practice and up level yourself from regular, from ordinary to extraordinary in your energy to achieve balance, all of this is necessary. And it's not for everybody because some people don't want to worry about giving birth to a light body. They want to do what they're doing, and I get it. But some people do want something more. And I'm after the beyond. Right? Okay. Similarities between Asar and Shiva. And these are two deities. One is Kemetic, Asar, and Shiva is of the Indian yoga or Hindu, I believe. Let's see. I don't want to misspeak about Shiva, but Shiva is one of the earliest representations of the supreme being called Brahman. Like Asar, Shiva has a companion, a co creator. This is the female aspect of creation called Shakti. God is all that is. When God creates out of himself. His shadow, then there is he and she. There can be no he without his she, and no she without her he. Shiva is consciousness, the cause of the universe, and Shakti is its power, the appearing universe. So Shiva and Shakti are really one in the same being, two sides of the same whole. Like Asar, Shiva is the lord of all forms of intoxication, music, and dance. Like Asar, Shiva was dismembered and torn to pieces. And like Asar, Shiva was castrated by the deities representing evil. The symbolism and occult meaning of castration in ancient tantric teachings is the conservation of semen, male as well as female, or sexual energy, and the transmutation of it into spiritual energy. In tantric teaching, this is not accomplished through abstinence and meditation exercises, but through sexual excitement and concentration meditation after months or years of meditation practice with full understanding of the mysteries of the true nature of the absolute. So when we're talking about circulating this energy, we're not even talking about directing it. You know, we have heard and have been told that your creative, sexual, cosmic energy, I should say, can be used for something else. And it can. But here, that's not what we're talking about. Right, Spencer. We're talking about circulating it within, keeping it within through the sexual or cosmic excitement, where we're not trying to seek it out because it's there, but we're becoming more disciplined in circulating it within the system. That's the occult meaning of castration. Okay. In tantric teaching, this is not accomplished through abstinence. I'm not saying abstinence is bad. I'm talking about in this teaching. It is not accomplished through abstinence and meditation exercises, but through sexual excitement and concentration meditation after months or years of meditation practice with full understanding of the mysteries of the true nature of the absolute reality, who is God. Okay. I see my battery is about to try to run low. And so I'll stop right here. When we come back, we're going to revisit the 9 parts of the self and finish that up. And then I would love to get to this part called the essential elements of spiritual discipline. Because it's one thing to know you need to circulate energy, it's one thing to know you need to meditate. It's one thing to know the difference between concentration and meditation, but we need something practical also, right? So, my goal is to help us deepen into self knowledge, coming into more awareness of our own wholeness, and being able to share that with others who are doing the same. Not only are we increasing our own quality of life, we are increasing the quality of our relationships. The energy of the environments that we live in is also impacted. Then we are able to give our spiritual service, right, in fullness because we know ourselves and because we are in the work of integrating ourselves and because we're not looking outside of self. Thank you, Jane. We are self generating truly. We are self generating truly. We are no longer looking for someone just to complete me, someone just to do this, someone just to do that, because we have become so masterful at self generating that we're ready to share. We're ready to create together. Hey, Kim, we're talking about Tantra and Kemetic yoga. We've talked about Shiva and Shakti. I'm talking about something far more than you all lesbian relationships. Something far more than, oh, I need your energy, you excite me. Something far more than, oh, we have things in common, let's build. Something far more than you're mine and I don't like shit. This is about growth in a real way, right? But the growth starts with self. So I'm going to stop right here. What y'all think about these teachings? When I talk about tantric living, yes, we're talking about in the outer world, romanticizing life. Yes. Yes, Baptist organ, yeah. Not only are we talking about the power of presence, we're talking about discipline. We're talking about energetic hygiene. What if you were in contact with someone who valued their energy so much, right? That they practiced the virtues, that they worked to purify their mind, that they came from balanced mindsets simply from the pleasure of it. Would you not want to come in contact with a being like that and enjoy life or interactions or conversations with them? Wouldn't that inspire you to want more, to go deeper within yourself? Don't you think that would enhance the way you love and the way you connect? Don't you think that could be healing and we don't have to deal with all these abandonment issues and avoidance and detachment and fear of pain and fear and running, right? And we could come away from, pretty lady, you get me, we can come away from asking people to hold space for my trauma, because your trauma is constantly being touched and healed over and over and over again. It's very refreshing. Yes, and that's it. You can get this book on the link to my Amazon storefront. It's on my profile. You can get the book there, but if you don't want to, read through it, then you can just journey with me. I have a whole page dedicated to my Kemetic study. Okay, peace, the power, Ashe. I have a whole page dedicated to Kemetic study, and it's called Weret Hekau, WERETHEKAU. That's a page dedicated to just this. That's how interested I am in it. And my YouTube right now is focusing on Kemetic study and yogic practices and spirituality. And guess what? Keperu, I don't know if Keperu is still on here, but Keperu is a content creator and a teacher of Kemetic wisdom. When I met Keperu in person, my desire deepened. My study was enhanced by his information. And so that TikTok page is Keperu, which means transformation, Kheperu. Keperu also has a website. I believe it's still called the House of Keperu. There's a whole learning path on there. If you want to self study, if you want something systematic, it's all laid out on that website. A lot of good information. This page holds a lot of power. The being holds a lot of power, right? And then he dropped in tonight and gave me something else so pivotal for me. So I am grateful for Keperu. And whenever I am reading from his information, that's who I'm talking about. Please do go to his page. When I first met him, he didn't have a TikTok page. Now the TikTok page is over 12,000 followers, right? It's good stuff. Not that the followers is validating it, but what I am saying that people want this. It's growing because people want it, right? This is Egyptian yoga, the philosophy of enlightenment. I say. All right. So what y'all getting into tonight? It's late and I'm starting to feel a little hungry, so I'm gonna go find something to eat. When was your birthday, Skywalker? I did not know that you are Aquarian. I didn't know that. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Finishing a painting. Happy birthday, Skywalker. You were going on draft to win some loot. All right now. Win some loot for me too, Nova. Practicing some makeup and tuning in. Ashe, thank you for being here, Suge. Happy birthday. All right, y'all. I'm done for the night. My battery is getting low. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been a pleasure. Please do join my bulletin board. That's where I'm going to be putting the plasmas and the chakras and suggesting meditations and such. I would really love to form a practicing community, right? Not just people who come in the group and sit there and then die out, but people who actively practice, right? And people who find community to be motivating. I'm very interested in informing that. Same to you, Tomboy. Zion, you're going to read Proverbs. That's in the Wisdom of Solomon. Ashe. I enjoy Proverbs and the Wisdom of Solomon as well. I would too. And when I've formed Tantra communities in the past, but eventually it dies out because it's more than just some ecstatic cosmic interplay. It's more than that. It's a daily walk, right? It's a discipline. It's a practice of spirituality. And so um, I would like to see it thrive and be active and people actually practicing and not saying, oh, I couldn't, I haven't been practicing for weeks, but I'm going to get back on it. Not that. Your solar plexus is active. And so every day you add an element and it doesn't have to be big, right? Cooperation, right? It doesn't have to be big, like big practices that go on for hours. No, even if you just take 10 or 15 minutes, right? To enhance yourself through energy conservation and circulation and things of that nature, I think it would be so great. So, what I may start doing is at the end of every moon, because y'all know I like to bring in 28-day cycles together. Right, it's not long. Even if it's 10 minutes, that's better than nothing, right? But what I think I'm going to do is at the end of every 28-day cycle, host a call. And we could start there once every 28 days. And as I see people are committed to their own growth through the practice, then I'll increase it over time. Because I offer groups for free, right? I offer groups for free because I believe that people should have access to spiritual teachings. I believe that. But here's what I also know, that if I'm offering the information for free and it's not being taken seriously, then I got to start charging, because then at least the flow is coming back to me in a more satisfying way. So I will offer plenty of free things and invite people to it. But when I start putting an offering price on it, it's because it's saying I value the time you spent not only in your own study, but the time you spend breaking it down, right? That's what that says. So I'm probably going to put an offering price on it. And that way I feel satisfied, you feel satisfied if you don't come. And then I don't burn out giving good information that isn't being used. And I know some people do use it because I see the change in their lives. I know some people do use it beyond sitting in a live saying yes and amen. They actually take the principles and act on them. I know some people who do that. My clients are those people. Some of you on here are those people. But what I'm talking about is something way more involved than just, oh, I don't have time, or I'm going to just see what you got going at the end of the night or something like that. I don't want to devote my time to that. I want to devote my time to people who want to devote their time. I'm into devotion. And the tantric path is about devotion, right? It's not that I'm devoted to you. I'm devoted to my calling as a guide. I'm devoted to my study. I'm devoted to my own practice. I'm devoted to building communities that enhance one another consistently, effectively, right? Because you wonder, where are the people who are on this level and ascending to this level? Well, they're in community. They're in communities growing. They're not out on the For You page. They're not out just in the store hanging out in a certain spot. Usually, I love devotion. Yes, yes. And when you have a community and you increase the quality of self and you enhance connections, then you have like-minded people right there. And you know what they're doing because you're involved in the practice together. I'm not saying turn the community into a dating site, no. But you know where to find them, you know where they're at. you know, I say. Right now, I'm talking about a practice, right? Because you're called to it. Hey, Keitha, there's a yoga of devotion, there's a yoga of love. That's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Peace. In Lakesh. Alakin. Until next time, okay? Bye bye, y'all. Peace and devotion. I say I like that, pretty lady. Peace and devotion. Thank y'all. Good night. You're welcome.